Dawn. I'm a mom of two teenagers, and I'm the chair of the Million Mom Movement. And I'm joined today by my beloved counsel, who works very hard every week and every day to support you, the Million Mom Movement community. I'd like to share with you a little bit about how this Fierce Friday began so that you understand what we've been up to for the last year and a half. So, and I need to go back in time a little bit for you to understand what happened with me in my own life and my own son. So, my boy, Zephyr, he's 14 now. He'll be 15 in August. He suffered from what I would call a compromised gut for most of his young life. And I just thought, oh, that's his constitution. And I didn't think anything more of it. Well, then I learned better. I learned that the cereal that I'd been giving him for the first 7 years of his life fairly regularly, like it was his favorite cereal. And that it was laden with glyphosate. Over 1,000 parts per billion were found in Cheerios made by General Mills. Well, as a mom, you can imagine my horror to discover this and to my sadness as well, that I had to take my son's favorite food, favorite morning food out of his diet. Now, keep in mind that I had tried the organic O's and he's like, Mom, I like Cheerios, right? So we like to give our kids what they want, right? So until we know better, right? Because when we know better, we do better. So I took the Cheerios out of our pantry and he was a little bit better in terms of the gut issues he was having, but he wasn't 100%. And then 2 years later, he was quite ill for many days in a row. And I was like, now what? And so it turns out what I learned is that glyphosate is also sprayed all over our wheat, our American and Canadian wheat. And it's really global. Glyphosate is the most used herbicide in the world. And so deep breaths. I took his favorite bagels also out of his diet. I took anything else that would exacerbate his gut health, and I gave him the solution that we have called Biomedic. And if you'd like to know more about Biomedic, just go ahead and talk to the person that invited you here, and they can share more about it. So I was happy that I was able to remedy my kid. After a week, his gut health was restored, and he was fine. And to this day, he still takes the Biomedic. But I knew that that wasn't enough. I knew that I had this platform and this responsibility as the chair of the Million Mom Movement to elevate this conversation about the toxins in our food. And therefore, Fierce Friday was born in January of 2020. So we decided to create, we meaning the council and I, and those who started in those early meetings where there was about 10 or 12 of us, we decided to create a letter writing campaign. Remember those? So we did that for a few months and it was not that effective. And so I like to say that we failed forward and we created a petition. And it's my dream that that petition I'll get to personally take to have a meeting at General Mills in the very near future, perhaps even in 2021. So that's the history of Fierce Friday. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I'd like to bring on one of my colleagues now to talk about, I'm just looking at my flow here. I think it's Carmela. Carmela, are you able to, are you with us here to share about scholarships? Or the pledge, excuse me, the pledge. Are you there? Oh my goodness, we do not have Carmela. Okay. All right. I need one of my other council members to please find the pledge and let's read the pledge for our community. This is the pledge that was created several years ago. And we just updated it recently, the council. So whoever can readily find that for me. And if you could make Jody Parker a co-host, Scott and Taz Ferreira, I'd really appreciate that.
They already should be.
Okay, great.
Now I am. I'm here.
Thanks, Jody. Thanks for pitching in, girl.
I have it all. So we just got a private message in our message group. Carmela just had her wisdom teeth pulled. So she's here, but she can't talk. So that is where the confusion lies. I'm going to share my screen with you guys because I'm a visual person and you don't really need to look at me. And I'm going to show you all of this that we're talking about today. So I'm going to jump in on a few things here because I'm going to take Carmela and Naeva's place today. This is the millionmommovement.info. This is our website. This is what it looks like when it first comes up. Let me mute my phone. And I want to let everybody know that we are the only ones who get that information. So you do not need to worry that we're sharing your information with people. And if you come here under movement and hit join, you will find that same thing that you're asking for your information. But if you scroll all the way down, you will see the pledge, which is right here. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger so I can see it all at once. So read along with me. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement. And I want to point out, as I said, that movement of many. When we started, we were moms, and then we realized it is not just moms who are interested in helping future generations or themselves. So we wanted to move that into letting everybody know that if you care about the environment and you care about nutrition and you care about kids, we want you. We are the movement of many. So that is where that comes from. And then Steph, should I just go ahead and move right into scholarships for you? All right. So we're still here at this website, but we're going to go to outreach under scholarship right here. So our company, the superfood company we partner with, is called Creme, and Creme is amazing. They give so much to charity, and this is just one of the ways in which the company is trying to help the world, the Million Mom Movement Scholarship. We give every month 4 lucky people a 90-day scholarship where they get $1,250 in superfoods from the company, and that's split between those 3 months. And they get the business. This is a business scholarship. We are interested in not giving people fish, but teaching them how to fish so that once that 90 days is over, they can get all the superfoods that they need and use it to support their family and their community with getting healthy, both financially and physically. So everything is written out here on who qualifies. Basically, it's anybody in the US and Canada. It does go to families. You must be a family and be caretaking. It doesn't go to individuals. They must be interested in doing the business. Again, this is a business scholarship. So we do expect them to engage in actually growing a business. And so therefore they have to be willing to accept mentorship. That's going to come from the people who they sign up under. So it doesn't have to be under the Million Mom Movement Council. It's anybody in Purium. But as a council, we also help to support our scholarship winners. And how you apply is all written out here. I don't need to go into detail on that. The one thing we get asked often is how many or can current brand partners win the scholarship? The answer to that is no. Your customers can win, but somebody who is already a brand partner already has the business. So winning the business is logical. So just to make that clear, here's your application process. It takes you step by step through it. I don't need to go into that, but that is everything you need to know about our scholarship. And I don't remember the numbers, but we've given well over $100,000 out at this point in the last year and a half.
$300,000, Jody Parker.
Holy goodness. Isn't that amazing? And that's just one aspect of Purium's charity that we give out to the world. So that's amazing. Do you want me to go into social media while I'm at it here? Okay, so Naeva usually does this part, but Naeva is helping the owner of Purium get ready for his wedding this weekend. So she's unavailable today. She is our social media maven is what Stephanie calls her. And we have a lot of social media with the Million Mom Movement. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter under Million Mom Movement. You can tag us with Million Mom Movement. And specifically on Instagram and Facebook, if you tag us in your stories, then we can forward your story and showcase you on our social media. So we want you to tag us at Million Mom Movement, and we would love for you to also use the hashtags Million Mom Movement, hashtag I am the Million Mom Movement, and hashtag we are the Million Mom Movement. This is my almost 8-year-old. She loves to be part of the Million Mom Movement. So she hops in anytime she sees me on these Zooms. So thank you, Leora.
We love having you, Laura.
We have a private Facebook group called the Million Mom Movement Official. And so we'd love to invite you all to join us there, where you can ask questions. If you are a Purium brand partner, it's a great place to practice going live, your PHP Live 2021. We would invite you to do so. And I think that's everything. I'm just going to sum that up with 2 things. On Instagram, we have a link tree that has all of that, so you can find it easily. And I forgot what the other thing was because my daughter distracted me. So I think we're good. Oh, people always ask us, do we record these Fierce Fridays? Yes, we do. This is one you're going to want to watch over because Taz has so much good information for you guys today. We have a YouTube channel. Just search Million Mom Movement on YouTube, and all the Fierce Fridays are there, as well as in I Learn for those of you who are Purium brand partners. Back to you, Stephanie.
Yay, thanks, Jody. Yeah, and if I can just like add in about our YouTube channel, we have had some incredible guests, ladies and gentlemen. So really scroll through and see some of the amazing guests that we've had. Activists, doctors, filmmakers, amazing. And then there's us thrown in, the council. So without further ado, I'd like to share with you and bring on my colleague, my fellow council member, and fellow Canadian. I now live in the United States, but I grew up in Canada, Taz Ferreira. Taz presented a Fierce Friday several weeks ago called From Sad to Rad. And she had so much for us, we weren't able to get through it all. So we're gonna do that today. And she's gonna help you make the transition from the standard American diet to the radically real American diet. Thank you so much, Taz. Oh, yeah, unmute, babe. Oh, Scott, can you, yeah, you are
Yes.
now.
And can I be a host, Scott, please?
I believe
can
you
share?
are. You should
No,
be a
I'm
co-host,
not.
yes.
I'm
All
not.
right, I'll do it again.
Thank you. We have so many amazing people on the call. So I'm so honored to have everyone on the call today. We have Italy's here, Belize, West Coast, East Coast, everyone. So I can't wait this is the part 2 of last time. How long ago was it, Steph? Like 3 weeks ago, I think? 3, 4? Alicia's like 4 weeks ago. Okay, so this is the part 2, from the sad to rad. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen, and when I do that, I don't see any of you anymore, okay? So you're gonna have to like unmute and talk to me. So.
Okay, I got your back, honey bun.
Thank you. Okay. So here we go. We did this. We were at yogurt, but should I like talk about the butters a little bit?
Yeah,
What do
let's
you
go to
think?
butter, because butter's a toughie. It's
Yes.
everywhere.
Exactly. And butter was a huge thing. You know, there were so many things that I didn't even know actually contained butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, when I became plant-based, and it's really important, I always stress that going plant-based doesn't just mean healthy. Okay. When someone says, well, I'm vegan, doesn't mean you're healthy. There's other criteria that you need to be looking for, right? So this is what I made, so it's easier for you guys. When going plant-based and looking for a vegan butter, okay, let's look for something organic, nut-based, and minimally processed, because there's so many butters out there, plant-based butter, that are full of oils, gums. I mean, it's incredible, the ingredients. It's probably longer than anything else. So let's look at minimal ingredients. You remember our pledge? So keep in mind the pledge as we go through this, okay? So I like using coconut butter, coconut oil, Mayoko's vegan butter, and the organic earth balance. And Steph, I know you love the organic melt.
I do. I just used it yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I love Miyoko's, all of Miyoko's products.
Yes, I do as well. Okay, so shall we move on from here?
Yeah.
Okay. And now Creme. You know, like I wrote the crème de la crème. Okay, so there's vegan creams that we love. Do you know how easy it is to make vegan cream? Okay, so I have a little tricks for you. You know when you buy coconut cream, on top, all of that goodness, that is vegan gold. Okay, you could use that and sweeten it, and now you have a frosting. You have a frosting. You could whip that up. You could put that on top of your coffees. I mean, there's so many things you could do with that. That has been one of my delicious go-tos. I make it for the kids. They love it. And you know what? No one notices. And now you're getting all the healthy benefits from the coconut. There's also a cashew cream that you can make. So how I make this, I just soak some cashews. You just soak some cashews, and then you can add any sweetener as you like. Maple syrup, date sugar, date syrup, whatever you like. And that's it. And you just blend it up in the Vitamix, and you can just go for the spoon, you know? You can make a healthy, delicious pancake and drizzle that on top. You know, the possibilities are endless. And here's another secret for you. You know those delicious creamy soups that we once loved? I know that was a big comfort food for me. So here's a great tip. You can actually use potato puree. You can use potato puree to thicken all of that up, and you don't miss any of the flavor. And now you're getting so much nutrients, vitamins, and microvitamins.
Hey, Taz, can I chime in for a moment here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Indian food, and I really love Indian curries. And I've noticed at the grocery store that Indian curries, when you buy them pre-made, some are made with butter and some are made with coconut. And I won't buy the ones made with butter because I'm not doing cow dairy anymore. I always find the ones with the coconut. And you can also ask at restaurants, if you're out at an Indian restaurant, to substitute the butter for the coconut cream. So I just wanted to add that.
That's a great tip. So even in a lot of Indian food, you would think it's vegan friendly, but they're actually not. Like their bread has yogurt as well. So asking questions is always a good idea. Ask questions exactly what Steph said. You can do a simple switch out, okay? Because coconut cream, a lot of people use it nowadays, and just switching it instead of butter is a perfect choice. So let's move on to say cheese no more. Okay, cheese was my ultimate comfort food, okay? You know when we would go to restaurants and we would order a cheese platter and they would write sharing? Well, to be quite honest, that sharing was all for me. I wanted it all. I love all types of cheese, from the stinkiest to the mushiest, to all different flavors of cheese. I loved it. So when transitioning into a more plant-based, I was scared. I was scared I wasn't going to have that flavor that I so deeply love. So there's so many options today. I found back then when I became vegan was over 12 years ago, we didn't have the options that you have today. If you go to the grocery store, there's so many amazing vegan options, but we need to look for the healthy varieties, okay? So look for an organic one, okay? And that's made with coconut oil and that does not have any dyes. I've noticed that a lot of vegan cheese, they add gums or they add dyes to it. So look out for that. Here is easy vegan cheeses that you can make at home. If you want to make a mac and cheese, this is what I love to do. I buy organic frozen butternut squash, And I make that, I puree it, I add some nutritional yeast, some Himalayan salt, and I have a delicious mac and cheese. And for a vegan ricotta, okay, I love cannolis. Okay, you remember those delicious cannolis? So how was I supposed to make that vegan? So what I did is that, you know, when you make your almond milk, the pulp from that, I would strain it and then sweeten that up. And now I have a vegan ricotta. If you sweeten it, now you can add it to a cannoli. If you add salt to it, now you can add it to a lasagna. There's so many different ways that you can use these ingredients. Okay. Now let's get to the plant-based yogurts. Okay, I know in the morning, for me, I used to love having a bowl of Greek yogurt. I always thought, I'm like, Greek yogurt must be healthy, right? So I would have that, but we know that, you know, yogurt, dairy yogurt can cause loss of inflammation. So once I started looking at plant-based yogurts, and there's so many options. There's a coconut yogurt. Have you guys tried our enzyme advantage? We have an enzyme advantage that I've actually used to make my own homemade coconut yogurt. I buy the coconut cream and I just add it inside 2 capsules. You let it sit for a couple days, I think overnight, and it becomes the most delicious yogurt. So that's a great tip. When buying yogurt, look for the unsweetened varieties, because what I've been finding is when it's sweetened, it's full of sugar. They put too much sugar that's unnecessary. So look for an organic yogurt, something that does not have sugar. You can bring it home and sweeten it yourself. If you want a vanilla, use your vanilla and sweeten it at home. Add your own fruit, add your own sweetness. And if you just top that off with chia or hemp seeds, you are adding added proteins and omegas.
Hey, Taz, I have to chime in here because this is a pet peeve of mine because I am forever standing in the dairy or, you know, plant-based dairy aisle because they're both right now, looking for the yogurt that is not sweetened. It is not easy at all. You've got to pick up container after container after container. But I just have to mention one of my favorite brands is So Delicious, unsweetened. It's a coconut yogurt. And Forager also has an unsweetened cashew yogurt. So I just wanted to offer that.
I love Forager. Like that whole brand is so great. So you know exactly what you're talking about, Steph. Finding a vegan yogurt that's not sweetened is very difficult because the same way that we were marketed unhealthy food, they're doing the same thing with plant-based foods. So a lot of times people go to the grocery store and they read, but it's plant-based, it must be healthy. But that's not the case. You have to look further.
Yep.
Read
I've
your
done it.
ingredients.
Yeah, I've done it. I've bought stuff that had sugar in it and I'm like, "Oh my God, why did I do that?" You know, I just wasn't as thorough. So we forgive ourselves, you know, we do it and then we forgive ourselves and then we go back and we do better, right? Good, better, and best.
Exactly. And it's not a little sugar. They put a massive amounts of sugar inside. So if you can find it or try to make it, it's not as easy. It's not as hard as you might think. Okay. So I would really encourage all of you to give it a go. Buy the coconut cream and add your own probiotics. See what happens. Okay. Okay. And what to avoid. Okay. So in the yogurt, this is something you need to avoid. Carrageenan. I've been finding it on so many yogurt products. They're full of it. Have you guys noticed that? Steph, have you noticed carrageenan in so much yogurt?
Yes, and it's also in coconut milk and almond milk. So you have to read the label.
Yes, absolutely. So for the milks, for the plant-based milks, you need to look for organic milks, okay? Because now almonds are heavily sprayed with glyphosate, okay? They're one of the highly sprayed nuts out there. So always look for an organic variety. Or if you can't, you know what's a great tip? Buy almond butter and make it yourself. Buy almond butter, put in your Vitamix and add some water There you go. You have your almond milk. Throw in some dates, you're good to go. So avoid the ones with sugar, avoid canola oil, okay? Artificial flavors, and basically any ingredients you can't pronounce. Okay, stick to natural colors and avoid dyes. Okay, this is another thing. They try to be sneaky with things. A lot of times, you'll see it says real fruit and it's full of coloring. It's full of dyes. Those blueberries are not even blueberries. Those raspberries are not even raspberries. So we always need to read our labels, okay? Okay, seafood. Here is another topic. When I transitioned to being plant-based, seafood was after the cheeses, seafood was so difficult, okay? Coming from a Portuguese background, I love seafood, from the octopus to calamari to everything from the ocean. So how was I going to get all of those minerals that my body deeply needed? Well, you know what? What do these fish eat? They eat seaweed. Why don't I go straight to the source? Right? So there's so many delicious seaweeds. We have dulse, kelp, nori. So there's so many things that you can make. I used to love eating lox. Lox on a bagel with the smoked salmon. So you can actually make a faux carrot lox. All you have to do is you get some mesquite, you get some maple syrup, you add some of your seaweed, and you let that marinate. And now you have the most delicious faux salmon, faux smoked salmon with all of the health benefits. And now you're getting all of the minerals. How about tuna? Tuna in a can, how gross is that, right? Now that we think about it today, but how many of us grew up eating that? Sometimes straight out of the can, right? So here's a great way that you can actually replicate that in a healthy version. So you can take chickpeas, mash that up, add some vegan mayo, add some seaweed, and some spices, and now you have a vegan tuna, and it tastes comparable to canned tuna. And now you don't have the can from, you're not using a can, you're not using the tuna, the fish. I mean, there's so many health benefits that you can have now. Marinated tomatoes. Oh, okay. So I tried this the other day from a vegan sushi restaurant. Those noris that they put the seafood on top with the rice? So they actually did a marinated tomato on top of the rice. It was delicious. There's so many things that you can recreate with vegetables. That's incredible. So I would highly recommend, explore your seaweed, because that is really what your body needed. That's why you were craving seafood.
Hey, Taz, can I ask you a question about the marinated tomatoes?
Yes.
Was it a sun-dried tomato or was it?
No.
No.
It was a fresh tomato. So it was flash boiled, right? And then skinned. And so, you have the fleshy part, and then it was cut in a way and then placed on the rice.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Do you want to say more about that?
Go ahead.
Well, we've got a question in the chat box. Is it easy to
Okay.
find organic seaweed, Taz?
It is. It is easy to find organic seaweed. Every grocery store that I go to now, I can find it easily. I find it easily available. Even Amazon has organic seaweed that you can buy in 100 batches. So I would explore that. Look for one that's not salted, because I find they're too salty, because they're naturally already salted. So you don't need an added salt. Yes, so just look for that. Any other questions?
There's a question here. Do you get high metal content warnings on yours?
High metal in my seaweed?
Yes.
No.
No. In fact, Yeah. So let's talk about that for a moment because I'm drinking a heavy metal detox smoothie right now, and I actually have seaweed in it to help with the heavy metal detox. So,
Yes,
yeah.
dulse actually helps remove heavy metals.
Atlantic Dulce. Yep. That's what I
I can
have.
Exactly.
change
Yeah.
that a little bit.
Go
The
ahead.
because of sometimes where things are grown, it can get contaminated because they're so good at absorbing heavy metals. So
Mhm.
it's really your source. But if you're getting an organic source, part of being certified organic is what environment is it grown in. So just stick with organic and you should be fine.
Yes, great point. So stick with organic because there's toxins everywhere, okay? And this will eliminate not having these toxins. So flavor your food. Okay, so exactly what I was talking about with the dulse, with the chickpeas, with the tomato and the carrots, what you need to do is flavor your food. Okay, I love using spices. So make sure your spices are organic because when you're using spices that are not organic, you are opening yourself to a lot of toxins like heavy metals, like glyphosate, arsenic. There's so many. So if you choose an organic spice, it will help your life. Okay, so I flavor everything really well. I love using garlic spice, onion, smoked paprika. If you guys have not used smoked paprika yet, I highly recommend it. Liquid mesquite makes everything smoky. So if you're looking for that smoked salmon flavor, look to liquid mesquite, okay? Himalayan salt, I put on everything. Black salt is what I actually use to replicate eggs in the morning. So when I make something like with chickpeas, I add a little bit of black salt and it's very eggy. So that comes from like volcanoes, when that sulfur smell, that's where to get the black salt from. And I use oregano, cinnamon, nutmeg. Anytime you use a creamy, like the coconut cream or anything creamy, add a little bit of nutmeg. You'll see it'll make a huge difference, even if it's a savory food. Okay, now barbecues. So when we use barbecue, this is one thing when I went vegan, because my whole family's vegan, right? And my husband and my kids as well. When we went vegan, everyone was like, yes, but I love barbecue. How can I be vegan? Well, of course you can be vegan. You can be healthy. You can be plant-based and still enjoy delicious barbecue. You know what? You could bring out all of the veggies. Once you put veggies on a barbecue, you know what happens? It gets transformed into this delicious vegetable. You're bringing out its natural sugars. So on veggies, I like adding balsamic vinegar. I love adding all of the spices, the onions, the garlic, everything. Become creative. This is your chance to start not just using a grilled piece of meat. Now you get to be creative with the food you're actually eating. Grill that onion, the zucchinis, mushrooms. I mean, there's so many varieties of mushrooms. And when you grill them, they get transformed to the most delicious food ever. And with my background, Brazilian, we love grilling up some pineapple. So we grill up pineapple and we add some cinnamon on that. It is delicious. I would really encourage all of you to try that this summer. So good. You can even do the apples, add some cinnamon to that. And we're so many plant-based burgers, but be careful of the plant-based burgers. That's not all of the artificial meats because they can be high in sodium and not organic and full of not the best ingredients. So maybe a homemade plant-based burger would be the best thing to look for. Okay, I'm gonna come back now because I want to see all your faces. Okay. So any questions?
I have a question for you.
Go
I
ahead.
want to know, so we know that a lot of those plant-based burgers that are out there are really terrible. Like we've got to read those ingredients because oftentimes they're just not good for you. But I've never been able to successfully make one that holds together really well. So I'm wondering if you have tips on making a homemade vegan burger, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who would love that.
I do. Okay, so to hold it together, what's missing is the binding agent, right? And that usually comes with eggs, but we're not using eggs. So what can we use? What I love to use, there's a couple of things. It depends what kind of burger you're making. If you're using rice as the base, if you're using quinoa as the base, what are you using? Beans, right? So if you use beans, that could be your eggs, right? But what I love to use that really works amazing is flax. I use flax. I add a little bit of water, you mix that around and you let it sit. And now it has become your vegan egg. So you just use that in the burger and it holds up like a champ.
Taz, do you use whole flax or ground flax?
Always ground flax. Whole flax does not get absorbed into the body. It needs to be grounded for it to be absorbed. So always don't buy it pre-ground. Buy them whole and then grind them as you go.
Okay, serious pro tip right there, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't do that, it'll just go right through you. You won't be getting any of the omegas.
Oh, yeah. And I just saw someone now we're all getting hungry. The chat is amazing right now. Can we talk about jackfruit for a moment? Because I noticed that wasn't on your list. Yeah, do you want to say about that?
Okay, so confession, okay? I do not like jackfruit. I try it so many times. I've tried at restaurants, I tried at home. It just tastes like a flavorless pineapple. I don't know. I'm not a big fan, okay?
I have a hint for you on that. You might like this. So my husband is from New Mexico, and so he likes spicy things, and he loves pozole, which is the great big huge corn, and it's a stew, and he had to make it vegan. So he bought jackfruit and he soaked it in the enchilada sauce first, and then he added it to our pozole, and it is so good. I was shocked, but so good. So again, it's all about the flavor, right?
It really is. Yeah. Like I'll sometimes buy jackfruit that's already been marinated in barbecue or like a taco sauce. Or I have my own taco sauce at home that I can marinate in as well. It works for me. I like it. I've been eating it for years, and I felt like it needed to be mentioned. But God, Jody, that sounds so good. Amazing.
We need to go over to Jody's house to try that. Steph, I've tried it in the barbecue sauce. It still tasted like pineapple with barbecue sauce. I don't know.
Well, yeah. So the one food that I can't eat is beets. And so I've tried my entire adult life to enjoy beets, and people go off about beets. They're so beautiful. And I can't do beets. And no matter how often I try, I'll have beet juice in another, veggie juice or, added to carrot juice or what have you. But we all have our particular things that we can't eat, right?
I have to blow your mind with the beets. Okay. So I buy beets, you cook them, you made them super soft. And this is what I do to the beets, guys. Listen to this. Okay. I add raw cacao. Okay. I add cacao, add a sweetener. Okay, Steph, try this. There's no way you're not going to love it. There's no way. Add cacao, add a sweetener. You will not taste the beets. Puree it in your Vitamix. It's the most delicious chocolate pudding ever. And I actually make that into a cake. No one knows it's beets.
Okay, that's really inventive. I love it. Huh, fascinating.
So this is something I want to talk about, that a lot of people think once you become plant-based, that you have to give up everything. Right. Oh, Taz, I love chocolate cake. I'm like, okay, eat your chocolate cake. What have you been eating?
So we have a request for your cookbook in the chat. I just want you to know. And that's the first time we've heard that. Like I've been feeling that about Taz's recipes for a long time now. So an MMM cookbook by Ms. Taz Ferreira. So we'll put that in the pipeline. Does anyone else have any questions? We want to hear your voices. We're going to open it up to you all now. If you have any ideas. Oh, someone's asking, what is the sweetener? Oh, for that beet chocolate pudding.
Whatever you like. I like date sugar. I like date syrup because I love dates, because now you're getting all the minerals. But you can use maple syrup, like I did slides on sweetener last time. Lucuma. I mean, yeah,
Right.
coconut sugar.
Yeah.
Yacon.
So
Wait.
Yeah, go back to Taz's first Sad to Rad and watch that, because she gives all the options for sweeteners. So hooray.
Hi, this is so awesome. Thank you, ladies. So can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks for
Okay.
being here.
So I have a quick question. So my little boy, he's almost 3. He is kind of like a mono eater. I think a lot of kids are like that. And so he's kind of picky. One thing that he's really into right now is the like the breaded fish patties. And I'm like, I cringe every time I give it to him, but he just really loves it. And I would love to make a vegan option for him, because my concern is like the parasites in the fish. Like, it just makes me want to die, when I think about it. So Taz, do you have a recommendation on how to make like a vegan fish patty?
I do.
That would be toddler friendly. Okay.
Yes. So I grew up eating all of that junk. Okay. So I understand completely what you're going through. So I like using tofu. Okay. Organic tofu. Make sure it's organic. Okay. And I use a tapioca starch. I add some water. So now this is the binding. Okay. And you just coat it in that. And then I wrap that in seaweed. Okay, I wrap that in seaweed, and now you can pan fry that with a little bit of coconut oil, and it's delicious. Add some like flavoring, add some dulse, add some more seaweed to it, because what he's looking for is the smell and the texture. So he'll see the white from the tofu and the skin, which will be crunchy. Right, and you could batter it as much times as you want. You can even add some panko flakes. Make sure all of these are organic. Even some stale bread that you have at home that's organic, let it sit out, let it become hard, then put it in your like Vitamix, and there you go. You have your own homemade breadcrumbs. Or even Rice Krispie cereal, you can use that. On organic, I like the 1 degree. There's so many varieties you can do. It's just options, looking at options and choosing this instead of that. Look for something organic and there's no sugar inside.
I love it, Taz. This is so brilliant. Elizabeth Santa Maria. Scott, will you unmute her? She has a raised hand.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, welcome.
I'm really excited about your movement. I don't have kids, but my little nephew has had digestive issues, and he's only 2. And so I just purchased the Epi something for kids for him.
Genius. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the family, and I'm glad that you invited people that don't have kids, because I love my nephews, and I force my family members to buy them organic strawberries. Like, it's my personal contribution to the family.
Yay,
but my question is that, I live a healthy keto lifestyle. So I'm not plant-based, but I have family members that are vegan. And I really have tried to get my family away from sugar. So I wanted to know what you feel about the allulose, your monk fruit sweeteners, stevia. Is that something that, if you're not totally plant-based yet, that you are okay with? So just wanted to know that.
Okay, so I am actually vegan keto. Okay, this is what works best for my body. And I love monk fruit. Monk fruit is amazing. With stevia, you have to be careful, because it needs to be real stevia, not the white version. Because if it's white, it's not real stevia. stevia needs to be green. So if you can stand that flavor, because it's not for everyone, then go ahead. But an allulose, I mean, I know some people like it. Some people get digestive issues. I mean, see what works for you. I don't like using anything like artificial. So using maybe like a date sugar or monk fruit sugar would be the best bet. Did we lose her? No, she's there. Okay.
She's
So,
there.
and you know what? I love that this is a movement of many. Just because we're not all moms doesn't mean we don't know someone. We
I just
all
said thank
started
you.
somewhere.
I wasn't able to unmute, but now I just wanted to say thank you. Yeah, I thought the allulose was actually come from the fig. I think it's made from fig. So
So
that was the question.
here's a good tip. If something comes from a fruit and it's a different color, that raises flags,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're saying that the allulose comes from figs, figs are brown, right? Why is it white?
Okay.
Something's happening there. So anytime I see that happening, I know it's processed. I need to stay away from it. That's why I like date sugar, because I'm like, okay, I see it. It resembles dates. You know, it's not white. Same thing like cane sugar, or like regular sugar. It started off as beets, but then they bleached it. Like we all started off good, but then corporations happen.
Yep. And they're more interested in profit than they are in our health. So that's why
Thank you. I'll research that, because it's just, since you're saying you're doing the keto version, you know how important it is to keep the sugars low, and so to keep you in fat burning. So that's really my concern for my family, because I've been trying to help them. So the sugar content is always my concern when people do vegan. A lot of people do vegan and their carb content is so high. And I was pre-diabetic, which is what got me on this road. So I don't want, for them to continue walking on that road and having things that increases their carb intake. So, but thank you very much.
You're so welcome. So it's the choices that you make, because healthy sugars won't spike your blood glucose level.
Okay.
So I hope that helps.
It does.
Thank you.
And a carnivore keto diet can actually cause more harm in the long run, because you're putting a lot of stress on your arteries, on your organs. So I would highly look into vegan keto, because it is possible and we can do it, and I'm still alive. And
all right, I appreciate it.
And choose the right carbs. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. We have a few other hands up. I'm just trying to figure out who those people are.
Camille.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. I just had a quick question. Stephanie, going back to when you introduced the call and you were talking about the glyphosate, and I was curious if you guys know if there is an actual compiled list of major companies that are using Roundup, on a consistent basis. I know General Mills obviously is one, but do you know if there's a compiled list that the Million Mom Movement has put together that we can use as a resource?
So the answer is no.
Okay.
Unless somebody else has something else they'd like to offer. It's definitely something that we could work on. But here's, from my understanding and my research, Camille, if it's not organic, and sometimes even when it is, there's glyphosate. So yeah, I mean, it's been used, it's the most widely used herbicide on the planet, and it's been used for 40 years. And it takes 20 years to break down in the soil. Thank you, Stephanie Seneff in What's with Wheat, which is, one of our interviews several weeks back. So it's everywhere. It's in all of us. But I love where you're going with that, Camille. And I'll have to talk with the council about whether that is something that we want to put our energy and time into. But I really appreciate your question.
Can I just chime in?
Yes,
so
please.
There's an image about all of the companies that are attached to other companies, because it's like an umbrella. Okay. So like Nestle, General Mills owns Nestle, which owns this. So once you understand that, you know what to avoid. So like what Stephanie said, just because it says organic doesn't always mean it's good. Follow the money, right? Garden of Life is owned by Nestle, stay away from, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe we could post that.
Yeah, and also, there are allowable glyphosate levels in the USD organic label. So I want you to all research that as well. It's connected to hydroponic farming. So it's really, they've basically corrupted the organic label, in my opinion, which is deeply disconcerting for me as a longtime self-described organic freak. So So we all need to be raising our voices at the grocery store, my friends. There is a glyphosate-free label, which you can be, looking into more so and asking for really from the grocers. If we don't raise a hue and a cry, if we don't express our outrage at the grocery store, things won't change, right? We're the ones we've been waiting for, right? We're the Avengers with the green capes. That's us right here, all y'all on this Zoom right now. So it's really about it's about relationships, right? It's about fostering these relationships with the people in charge of buying the products about what matters to you. I think, if you go back in time to, several decades back, we had far more connection to the people that we were buying our food from. So fostering those relationships, obviously with farmers markets and organic farmers that are local to you, and buying directly from them, community sustainable agriculture, CSA boxes, right? Like getting in with all the farmers in your region. That is where we're headed, everybody. That's where we want to be going. So I hope that helps.
I think Stephanie Mitchell has a question.
Yes.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Jody. I'm sorry too, Taz, that I haven't been able to say hello to you. I can't get my camera on. Anyway, I need help. I have a customer who wants to test her urine to see what type of glyphosate is being removed from her body when she starts a biomedic, and she's going to do it for 3 months and test before and test after. And my question is, does it only get removed through your urine? And is she going to see 73%, or does anyone know anything about this?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yeah, there's a lab. Just type in glyphosate test in Google, and there's a lab that comes up. I think it's called Grand Prairie Laboratory, and they will receive your sample. And I think it is just urine, actually, Stephanie, to answer that part of your question. And in terms of how much will be removed, so I had someone in my organization do this test before and then do it 2 months later. And after being on our product Biomedic for 2 months, there was zero glyphosate left in her body. So what we have here is highly effective. It's the only product that has been proven by a third-party testing body. The detoxproject.org has certified our product, okay, which is very meaningful to me as a brand partner. And so we can rely on that, on that it's doing the job. And I just have to give it up for Dave Sandoval for creating this product in the first place.
Me too. What an amazing gift to the world.
Yeah, it really is. And I was really skeptical about it when it first came out 3 years ago. And over and over and over again, I've seen the results of how our product has helped people, including my own kid. So
that's wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie. Just real quick. Usually when a person tests their urine for glyphosate, what does it come in at? Is it 73? What was that stat for how much glyphosate is in somebody's body?
The statistic is connected to what Biomedic will do. Okay. In a 6-week period of time, we have the claim is that it will reduce glyphosate by 74%. Okay. That is what the early clinical trials stated when they came out 3 years ago. So in terms of what they're going to find for her, I have no idea.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. All right. We have just a few more minutes. Any other questions?
Alicia.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you everyone here for such a very informative call. Holy cow. I wanted to just ask Taz for one more recipe. If she could just repeat the 2 ingredient vitamin D brownies,
Ah,
because that to me was like mind-blowing chocolate brownies that are healthy. So I just hope you can tell us that one.
Thank you, Alicia. Okay, so like you see, when you make healthy foods, you know what? They can be easy too. They could be easy and healthy. And as us busy moms, that's what we need. Okay. So it's the MVP Kids because I love that. It's high in vitamin D. So you're getting everything that you need. And it's the only protein powder that has no heavy metals or glyphosate. So even if you're not a child, you can have this. Okay. I have it every single day. You add some applesauce, to that, add whatever sweetener you like. Okay. Some people even add a nut butter. I don't, but just add what you like. So that it has to look like a Play-Doh. Okay, this is what it's going to visually look like. It won't be wet. It will look like a Play-Doh. Add your chocolate chips. Okay, whatever chocolate chips you like, non-dairy. Okay, and mix that up. Now you need to mold it in whatever shape you want. If you want a cookie, if you wanted a brownie, because the shape that you mold it in, it will stay that way. You put it in the oven, 350 for 12 minutes. They're all going to be gone. And they're cleanse friendly and they're so easy to make. It's a great snack after school. It's a great snack anytime. So I hope you enjoy it. A lot of my recipes I post on Instagram too. So you guys can check me out there.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to correct what I said. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, correct yourself first.
Oh, Great Plains Laboratory, everybody. GreatPlainsLaboratory.com. I put the link in the chat, not Grand Prairie. I was close, but not close enough. Yes, Jody.
I just wanted to ask a quick question. So this SAD to RAD plan that we've been doing, Stephanie's asked me to do my own version, and I saw people asking about snacks. And I'm wondering if there is interest from the field on if I should go that direction for SAD to RAD, if that would be helpful to you, because I have the kids with all the food allergies, and when we go on vacation, I have to bring all the food. So I've gotten really, really creative. And is that yeah, I'm seeing there's interest there.
Absolutely, Jody.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do SAD to RAD in Jody's kitchen with snacks for kids. Is that, yeah? Are we into that?
Absolutely.
All right,
those broccoli bites are like a hit in my house.
Oh my God, the chocolate broccoli bites. Okay, they have broccoli comes from Green Spectrum, but it's green, so my kids call them chocolate broccoli bites, but they don't taste like broccoli. But all right, I'll work on that. I'll bring my kids in on the mix and go with that. And for everybody who's asking now, if you go to the Million Mom Movement website and look under recipes, there's all kinds of ideas there. So please use that resource.
Yay. Sweet. And here we are at the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Taz, and everyone for your questions. Yeah, wasn't that rich? Rich and delicious, and it's time for lunch here on the in the Pacific Northwest. So if you're inspired by what you've heard here today, please share. If you're not a Purium brand partner, please ask the person that invited you how you can become one and move this mission forward. All right. That's how we're going to move this mission forward, by sharing our voices, whether we're talking to grocers in our local grocery store or whether we're talking about the solutions that we have with Purium Health products. So thank you all so much for your time. And we look forward to being with you next Friday for our Business Forward Friday. We've got Taz and Carmela hosting, and we can't wait to see what you're going to be up to, Taz. So thank you again, everyone. All right. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.